The daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Cork, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The voice.
May 2024. We're at the start of another week of The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. Our program airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM Radio 91.3 North and 91.5 South, on NBC Television simulcasting Channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live, streaming also live on YouTube. And we hope that you've had a wonderful weekend, including a wonderful finale to the 2024 St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, as well as a great Mother's Day celebration. And at the start of your week, your day so far has been going great, and that you can be optimistic, well prepared, with good reason for the remainder of the day and of the week. So, somebody was giving me some directions. What's wrong? To me, my collar is fixed. What's it? Seeing the white in my vest? Hey, what's so hurtful about that? See a little white of my vest? It's an undershirt. Everybody knows about an undershirt. What, does it look ragged and torn or anything? No, it looks whole and in good shape. Thank you very much, Nigel Nicholas. Distracted me there a bit, but I really don't find any reason to button up and so on. Everybody knows a vest, don't they? Everybody knows an undershirt. Right, so sorry if my slip is showing. As I was saying, folks, I keep wondering what are the complaints that some people seem to have had about the Jazz Festival. If it's not about the name, they shouldn't be calling it jazz. It's about the foreign acts that they have. It's about this. It's about that. It's about another. And I'm saying all the feedback that you are getting from people who were there, from people who observe, from people who watch via drone, from people who watch this way, from word of mouth, is that this St. Lucia Jazz Festival was executed almost flawlessly, I'm tempted to say impeccably. Everything suggests that the organization, from the venue planning and management to the traffic management and all those sorts of things, they had it all down pat. I mean, you're going to get glitches and hitches and hiccups. You're going to get those things. A late start was a complaint down in Soufrière. There are things that are definitely going to happen. Like people have a problem with the length of time it takes to set up. People, let me tell you this. Those who have worked in sound and in music and in stage setup, as I have for some time, will tell you that it is never an exact science. You can do whatever you want, especially when you have live bands. Changing over from one band to another. People, this calls for a lot of precision, and no matter how well you plan it, along the way, you're going to have some little gremlin, some little goblin, some little snafu coming and affecting you. For you to move equipment, change things, change the setup, do everything so that it goes according to how the artist and the performers had rehearsed and so on, you're going to have something. You're going to have what you rehearsed with and what you prepared with, the voltage, drop here and the gen, and you need to correct this and you need to do that. And where you had planned on doing to orient your stage monitors and your speakers is a different thing that you have to tweak and you have to correct. It's never ever going to be flawless. It's never ever going to be seamless. Not least of all the equipment, no matter how precisely or perfectly calibrated it is, at the time of you actually wanting it to function, you invariably find that there was something that was overlooked or something that is not functioning as it ought to be. So I had all this kind of complaints. The other big thing of complaint was about complimentary tickets. Everybody feels must be given even people who can afford to buy tickets, It's like there is something that has to do with pride, that has to do with ego, that has to be with your sense of how well you are regarded and how highly you are regarded because you didn't get a complimentary ticket. Like getting a complimentary ticket is a kind of an affirmation. It's a kind of telling you, hey, you are considered to be a VIP, a great person for us. Complimentary ticket, a big quarrel among so many people for complimentary ticket. And I want to say something with regard to complimentary ticket. It may seem a little off what I'm saying right now. And I'm appealing to you, my fellow St. Lucians, my brothers and sisters, my friends, my comrades, my colleagues, whatever. Those of you who want to hear it from me. And I don't want to preach to anybody, but I'm going to tell you something, and you better take it seriously because it is not something, even if I seem to be spontaneous and saying it now for now, it's something that has been roiling in me for a long time. I have been contemplating it. I have been meditating on it. I have given it a lot of thought. If you have not yet been taken captive by it, so that you are not yet imprisoned by it, People, I'm giving you from the bottom of my heart a very deep, fervent, sincere, profound, whatever you want to call it, warning against the spirit of jealousy. Be very careful about it. It's everywhere, in the world. People, be very careful about this thing called jealousy, where it has to do with this person got and I didn't have, and this person this, and this person making more money than me, and this person that. Be very careful about the spirit of jealousy when it is not tied to anything objective. I'll tell you why. To me, in my observation, and I'm not exactly a young man, I've lived a few years. There are many who have lived much longer than me. But you just have to be a student of life. More even better if you're a student of some kind of spirituality or value system, whether it be the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is, holy book that you subscribe to and so on. They all have a certain tone of morality, and jealousy, envy are some of the things that they always discourage. But I'll tell you from my own observation. You see this thing called jealousy? Once it grabs you, once it grabs hold of you, to me, based upon the stories, the history, the examples, the patterns that have been offered to us, you do not escape jealousy. Jealousy is not something you escape once it takes hold of you. It's one of those states of mind, for some reason, it is very intractable. It is very unyielding. It does not let go once it grabs you. Jealousy. You go to your grave with it and it destroys you. I'll speak to one value system that I think most St. Lucians can relate to. And those of us who believe in other value systems like the Muslims and the Quran and so on, I'm sure they can back up that kind of thing. People, just look at the examples in the Bible. Whenever anybody you find there held up as an example has been captured by jealousy, no matter how much they try to reason with them, it just never lets go of them, or they never let go of it. Look at Cain, folks. The example of Cain and Abel in the Bible. There is no example or indication in Genesis that God was conversational with Abel, that he had conversations. Look at Cain. We get in the example that God was conversational with that man, the firstborn son of Adam and Eve. Saw that jealousy was taking hold of him and spoke to him and said, look, something is troubling you and it will lead you down a very dark place of no return. Take control of it, rule over it. He didn't want to. Even after the jealousy led him to commit the first recorded murder. Look at what happened after. God was still conversational with him, He pleaded, he said, right now, I'm basically a dead man walking. Whoever sees me will kill me, and God gave him a mark so that nobody dared to touch him. God was conversational with that man, but not even that intimacy that he had with his creator was enough to dissuade him from the path of jealousy. Look at the examples down the line. Look at the example of Joseph and his brothers, the jealousy because, his father liked him and whatever it was, They just could not relent from wanting to do him evil. Look at the story of King Saul. His own son-in-law, whom he regarded, who helped him out of a predicament that he was in, a military predicament. The moment the people started to big up and say, Saul has slain his thousands, but David is tens of thousands, Saul could not relax again. No matter what, that jealousy just had him possessed, and nothing could cause it to yield its grip on him. Just look at those examples. Every one of them you will see that jealousy is one of the most intractable pathologies of the mind, that when it takes hold of you, apparently there is no escaping it. Now I can't be too sure about that, People, let us be very careful that the spirit of jealousy, those of us it has not yet taken captive, that it does not settle upon us. Because when it does, it can lead to some pretty dread thing. And I'm telling you, I got a few examples about, complimentary ticket and who should get complimentary ticket. Do you believe they could have given complimentary ticket to everybody? You believe they could have given, if they have to give so much as some people felt and so on, they might as well have given to everybody. Just say free up the jazz festival. Let me tell you two things that I would do. Apart from the humongous financial loss, it's always a loss according to the balance sheet. I don't know Jazz Festival has ever made a profit, or it's intended to make a profit, not for the organizers, not for the government. But government and its economic impact on people has to be seen more than the balance sheet. It is to be seen in the indirect benefits to many more people, where the organizers and the government are as poor but making many rich. You create the environment for taxi drivers. You create the environment for vendors. You create the environment for the shops and so on. How many people went to buy outfits, especially for Jazz Festival? Those gas stations that just see a trickle of people coming into them because there's so many of them nowadays and so on. So many places. I mean, just look at, right there in Marisil Badron, you have Glass, you have this, relatively new gas station which when I left wasn't there. You have Galaxy. By the time you reach, going down towards Grosley proper, towards Rodney Bay, there's another big gas station. You go up by Massad, there's another one. No matter how much traffic is on the road, you have to ask yourself how that impacts profit. I'm sure in the event of Jazz, they probably saw the turnover. They probably saw the continuous coming and so on. It does benefit. It's not only when it comes into government coffers so government can say we made a profit. Government, strictly speaking, does not exist to make a profit. Government exists to facilitate people making a profit. To facilitate people getting a better deal, a better shake out of the economy and out of life. Even though government itself cannot, because government is not an enterprise. This idea that government has to function like it is an enterprise, you heard this talk a lot, run the government like a business and this kind of thing. This is impractical. It doesn't work. And when you have people coming from private sector with the same mentality of capitalist free marketing and so on and trying to run government like that, it always leads to disaster. Because how do you regard a hospital? That it has to be profitable for it to be justified? That a psychiatric hospital, that the fire service, that the police, that the schools and so on, that the prison, that big prison, they're not bringing in any money. And that's the problem, they're not bringing any money. So government creates something like the Jazz Festival and structures it the way it has structured it and brings it to places that other people look down. The very same people who go to Marshall and they're crying because the people don't have toilets and they have to poop in nylon bag. And I never see that before. The very same people, they have a problem with bringing Jazz to Marshall. They cry in Marshall. This is an effort to economically empower the people of Marshall. And not just to economically empower them, to give them that sense of self, that sense of value, that sense that we are worth something. That we're not always on the margins of everything else and look down upon and nothing, we're not good enough and we're not worthy of that kind of thing. Yeah, that is what Philip J. Pierre, to me, has been trying to do. And nobody too low to get a piece, however small of the pie, however seasonal, however few and far between, but at least demonstrate to them that you... And I'm wondering whether it is any coincidence, whether it's any coincidence that during this Jazz Festival, something else has happened. I won't talk about it. People vetty me about that already. They tell me be very careful. Don't go crowing about it, because anytime we start crowing about it, all fall down again. So I wouldn't say, but just look at the Jazz Festival. Maybe we need more like the Jazz Festival, more events, more seasons like that can give people a sense of not just economic upliftment, but can also give them a sense of having some value and some significance in the society and in the country that they call this. I think we've seen something has happened in Jazz Festival. And let us hope that in some way, the carnival season can bring some more of that, can uphold that, can continue it. So that for all the bacchanal and the bam wall and all the things that we obsess ourselves with, that there are certain other metrics that we tend to be oblivious or inattentive to, that we're not going to see, that there is something else that is happening. That, if that is the price that we have to pay to get that degree of a little peace, a little security, a little bit of safety, a little bit of living less in fear than we have been living, maybe from a secular point of view. And I'm happy I brought up that word secular, because I want to talk about secular and religious and this kind of thing, where we have to understand the balance between them and one respecting the other and coexisting with the other. But beyond all this thing about the economic empowerment of people and so on, We have to understand that the jazz festival, it gives St. Lucians a sense of pride, a sense of prestige, a sense of being at a certain level regardless of what your socio-economic status is. And so we can't expect them, after they're already taking such a loss, to give everybody. But there's another critical reason for it. People, those of you who have organized social events, whether they be dances, whether they be pageants or whatever it is, you know what it is like when you free up the door. You know what it is like when, people don't have to pay and you tell them they can just come in. You know the kind of behavior, even when you hire police to be your bouncers and your security, how challenged they are, how difficult it is. You lower the bar for admission, for admitting people, to the various events of the jazz festival, and all the respect and all the premium, class that you seek to bring to it and so on. It all evaporates. People you would not one day, because either they don't have a $5 or $10, or they just believe they should not have to pay. And that is the thing with anything that has government associated with it. We have a dirty attitude that we should not have to pay, or that we should pay peppercorn prices. We should pay chump change for it. Whether it be Wasco, the water, if you see Wasco was a truly private company, especially if it's a private company where we call a German firm to come and manage our water resource management and distribution. The white faces, the blonde hair, the blue eyes. We're going to stand in line at attention, quiet, docile, submissive to go and pay, bills that would probably be 3-4-5 times what Wasco is asking us to pay. $15 per 1,000 gallons, or for the first 3,000, and after that, if they say they put in 25 cents, or per the 1,000 gallon, you'll see the riot we want to raise. Anything that has to do with our government, and anything that has to do with dealing with black people like ourselves, we always have no respect. We always believe it must be free. We always believe they have no right to charge us anything for it. We're going to pay for it. So you go, you free it up and so on. And I can tell you, I have seen it. You keep the door for whatever the fee is. They have a set of fellas who standing by the gas. So, monsieur, you mean to tell me already that them fellas can't free up the door? Monsieur, you make the mistake, you feel the pressure from them, and you go and you free up the door, and you see what happened. Like they're waiting to make up for all the time they're not there. They're going up. Women that are respectable, they want to go and whine on them. They get aggressive. They behave bad. In that last hour or whatever that you do, the kind of fight and bottle breaking and so on that you see there. If that jazz festival is not managed in a manner to make it retain its premium positioning, its segmenting of prestige and so on, in terms of your market targeting, in terms of the clientele, the patrons that you seek to attract, you're mashing up, you're destroying your jazz festival. The same way, like no matter how brilliant our local acts are, try to run anything, take out the name Jazz Festival and run it strictly with the local acts and the local artists, Arthur Allen, all of them. Wonderful, superb, stupendous in terms of the performances. You'll see how much it will fall, how many people will come out. Maybe the first night, the first day, whatever. It's very simple, people. Our market is very small. It may seem big to us when we're looking at it from within. You never see the crowd once you're in the crowd. You're looking at from within, it looks like big stuff to you. Like a friend of mine in Antigua once said, when they were talking about having more Antiguan people, why do we need to bring those people? Why can't we have Claudette Peters, a fantastic performer, eh? Alison Hines of Barbados got nothing on her, I can tell you. Claudette C.P. Peters and Tian Winter and those kinds of people in Antigua and so on. You know. And one day a friend of mine, I can name him, we were working in the Antigua GIS. I was the director, he was deputy director. Brilliant guy, got a scholarship, went to study, law, whatever, and something at Oxford or whatever, Jamal Francis, And Jamal said to one of them, tell me how much of it can I take coming to listen to the same 5 songs from Tian Winter, from Claudette Peters, from, we talk about our people, but we ourselves will get tired if we don't inject the diversity and the variety into it, And when Jamal spoke, At that meeting, I remember, not a man moved. The whole length of the table fell silent. Brilliant in terms of the manner. And it's the same thing in St. Lucia. How many of us will want to be listening to Arthur Alley and this and that and so on? Yeah, they have enough, but maybe we need a St. Lucia Indigenous Performance Festival or whatever it is. I don't know. Don't we have enough of it in Carnival already? But maybe we want to say, okay, let's bring in the locals in a festival, then resegment whatever it is, compare this and so on, so that we say, okay, it's a St. Lucia music festival or so on. Maybe we need to do that if we don't have it already. Like I'm saying, to me, we have Carnival as a good platform. We have Journée Creole as a good platform. Maybe we need more of it and so on and bring all of them. Many years ago, there was a magnificent idea, put together, and it was executed for a couple of years, called the Belgrave Awards by Terry Wilson and Cave Compton and those guys and so on. And I mean, they featured people like, was it T.G. Fury and Jimmy Havens and the late Johnny Romile. And I mean, they came together, The guy, what's his name, Dayton Charlemagne, who had just done that great hit, Parfumé, c'est pas, Ikai for Malad and so on. I mean, they brought them together. That was at the Cultural Center. Beautiful idea. Maybe it needs to be brought back and expanded and so on. I don't know. But that is not what the Jazz Festival was designed to. People, look at how we rock to Air Supply, who've been around for 50 years and so on. The songs back from 1980, I'm All Out of Love, how people still love that kind of music and so on. And I'm saying hybridizing it, the hybrid between those kinds of things and the local talent is what makes the jazz. But coming back to the subject, we have to get off this thing about complimentary tickets, where I am lowly regarded and I'm not regarded and they don't care about me and I too low for them and this and that if you don't get complimentary tickets. The organizers, tourism authority, whatever it is, they have already given so much in terms of bringing us the Jazz Festival. We have to be reasonable. And as many of us, that this idea we have about, complimentary tickets is based upon this person get, and I know they gave this person and they didn't give that person. I mean, come on, people. Really? Really? If one get, all have to get? That makes sense to you? That formula sound right to you? And I mean, it's like it went on and on and on. It's a bickering, if not about local acts and all of that and so on. At the end of the day, the Jazz Festival has shown it is magnificent precisely because it is that intermixing of the foreign, international, regional, local, and so on. That's what it is. That's why they don't just call it the Jazz Festival. It's called the Jazz and Arts Festival. And what's in the name that we're making such a big deal about? Remove the jazz from it. Take out the jazz. It's not jazz. You don't have Wynton Marsalis. You don't have, Kenny G. I mean, how long jazz has been around? What's in the name? That we're still bickering over the name. That we're still bickering over foreign artists and all this kind of thing. Outside of jazz, we still had a foreign artist who came here and who cussed us off. Who called people MFs. And it's not muscle and fitness freaks he was calling them. He called them, we pay big money to go and see him and so on. Isn't that foreign and so on? And get off this whole thing about the complimentary tickets and so on. Just get off it, people. Just get off it. A complimentary ticket is not a national honor that they pin a badge from you of national hero of St. Lucia. And once again, I will appeal. Do not let the spirit of jealousy take over us. And when I talk about the spirit of jealousy, I raised that in Antigua some time ago, and I think that interview that I did at the time with opposition leader Harold Lovell. Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister, was listening, and he was very impressed with a question that I asked Harold Lovell. I was at Observer Radio, but Gaston Brown, Prime Minister, listens to everything. This exact thing they have about the global pots holding, they had worse in Antigua, demonstration and placard and every kind of thing. The people had a pot that they built how many years ago? They're not making money from the pot. They cannot keep up with the loan payments for the loans that their port authority took for the pot building and upgrade. The pot is there. Mold and fungus and whatever is growing on the concrete for lack of use. The shops and the stalls that they have offering for rent to concessionaires. Nobody can rent it. They cannot afford it. Those who rent it, they're falling into default. They're not paying the rent and so on. It's there practically as a white elephant, just barely able to trundle along with the seasonal cruise ships and so on. Like so many other Potts Point, Seraphim and all included, that we took endless money to build and upgrade. We had the mercy of Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, who don't want to pay a small head tax and so on, to help us to find money to pay for the loans. And anytime you talk, they're telling you they're going to stop coming, or they will boycott, or they will do this, and the divide and rule working well. And that was how it was, in Antigua with the port. They don't have the money to do the kinds of developments and upgrades that are required to make the port competitive and so on, to upgrade it to bigger cruise ships that are coming now, Oasis class and this class and whatever class of cruise ship and so on. And Global Port Holdings came and offered Antigua the same deal, that they complain about, the 40 years and all this kind of thing. That's what Antigua has entered into with Global Ports, and you should see the kind of upgrade and redevelopment that they've done. Florida Cruise Association and so on, they were opposed to it. You know why? Because Global Ports is now going to be the one negotiating on behalf of Antigua, as they have been doing on behalf of the Great Bahamas. They will be the ones sitting at the table negotiating with them about head tax and things like that. And they know the weight, the economic might, the business heaviness that Global Ports brings, that they will not be able to mama guide them and to intimidate them and toy with them like they can do with these hapless individual countries that have the ports. And if Global Ports were to establish a presence where it has a chain of such leases in all the islands, the consolidation power becomes even greater. So they were opposed to it. Antigua went into it. You should have seen the opposition there, the kind of demonstrations and placards about we selling away our patrimony and what we entered into and what VC Bird worked to negotiate together. But you look at the port is there, it's making a loss. Even without Global Ports bringing it, it's making a loss. It's falling behind. It's in default on its loans. The interest on the loans has ballooned and so on. And I asked Harold Lovell a question. I said, look, all the stats that are showing that the port as is a millstone around Antigua and Barbuda's neck. It's not earning anything. It's a loss to you, It's just because it is sovereign, you think that the banks, whatever, whether Bank Paribas or whatever that give it the loan, they can't come and physically repossess it. So when people are demonstrating against something that is in fact a drag on you, it's sinking you, it's drowning you, does that not mean that there is some jealousy? You can't do anything with it. You cannot handle it. You can't make anything out of it, but you don't want anybody else to have it. That sounds to me like a spirit of jealousy. We had a nice discussion about it. He said, no, he doesn't think so. What he thinks we need to do, explore other alternatives. But it's something that I found. People have land. The land is just lying there. Nothing is happening to it. They're not farming it. Some people go and they lease land from the government, and the government lease land to them at what you consider to be, really won't you pay funds and so on. They have the land that they're not doing. As soon as somebody else comes and takes it over, even somebody they sublet it to, and the person seems to be making a success of it, especially that person, a foreigner, because there are people from Dominica who come, and because of the farming and agricultural background, they will take a piece of land that the local people will tell you they can't do anything with, and next thing you know, they have it humming and going, and they right away it becomes a cry, them foreigners come in and they're taking over. And sometimes they take it back from the person. They find every reason to protest and complain, and they take it back. And then bam, it's back to square one. They can't do anything with it. It's dead. It's just not part of them and so on. And I look at this thing going on with Global Ports there, and all the chat about we giving away our port, when clearly it is a lease arrangement. As VC Bird used to say in Antigua, when you see they come and they build their hotels or whatever, and they don't want to come to terms with them, they want to pick up and leave when we tell them, no, we want you to treat the people and pay them a minimum wage, etc., of a certain thing. And they threaten to pull out. Let them pull out, because they cannot pick up the hotel and go with it. And likewise it is, I'm wondering what it is about the government of St. Lucia offering to Global Port Holdings, that it has not already seen the results and the best practice in the Bahamas, in Antigua and Barbuda, and who knows, there may be a third place that I just don't recall in the Caribbean. So St. Lucia would have had the benefit of being able to see how that GPH dealing and agreement and leasing with other Caribbean countries has worked out and to say, okay, it's safe for us to step there. There are certain protections into it. Let's not allow the spirit of jealousy to take over us here. That we don't have the resources. That it would leverage our air and seaports authority right over the edge. That it would leverage them into financial oblivion if they were to undertake the kind of expenditure required for the upgrades that I envisage. We have a company which I think is of origin in Turkey, but is headquartered in the United Kingdom, meaning it is functioning within the framework of international best business practice. We have the protections of so many other things that we can work out into our agreement, but simply because it is not Mr. Shasney and his team who are the ones leading that effort, they have everything to say about it, that we are giving away, that we are selling our pods, that we are handing it over, whatever, to foreigners. A Shasney who has always held himself out to be a champion of investment, of foreign direct investment, although I believe the present government is pursuing it on terms very different from those that form part of his concept. This is the real issues. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boost your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22 next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop, Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
For staying with the real issues on this Monday the 13th. What a difference does not just the day make, but the name of a day make. If today was Friday, Jaquan, and the same date, what would people be saying? Friday the 13th? Yes, today is Monday the 13th. Nobody are afraid, right, about it anyway. I doubt people bother about that anymore. It is Monday the 13th of May, 2024, and we'll soon be opening the phone lines. But before I do, you'd have heard me some time ago talking about what seemed to be a leaking pipe somewhere under or near the San Souci Bridge. It couldn't have been so much under because Jaquan, just in passing, in the little shortcut that was there, was able to take pictures of it fairly easily. I doubt he had to go under the bridge and look for it and all of that. So it's within view. There had been, and maybe still is, we haven't checked it for a while since Wasco gave the explanation, squirting water at high pressure for quite some time. And one of the things I said is that when those things happen, whatever the reasons for them, especially if they persist for several days and more, the optics is bad. The optics is bad because we had too many people complaining about not having water for weeks on end, if not months and so on, not getting water. Now, the reasons for them not getting water may not be related directly to the leaking pipe that we are seeing in some areas. But like I'm saying, the optics are bad. Zaka fe moun an waje. Pou yo ka we yo pa ni d'lo. Ek la yo pa ni d'lo, mesi, pli mouve pa el sou pa ni kouwan, sav. When flushing a toilet becomes a challenge for you, when washing your dishes becomes a challenge for you, when taking a shower becomes a challenge for you, I'm telling you, it really, really is infuriating. It's exasperating. It's frustrating. It's irritating. In every way you can think of, the water situation. Now, you've heard me say in St. Lucia, where water is concerned, we spoilt. We spoilt. We know to complain about water, but we are the ones who take water for granted. We waste water. We do all kinds of things. And we are paying cheap for water, you know. This thing about we believe you catch you in a glow, that's something we have, especially those of us who are against the government of the day. And if this was a Flabo government, same thing, you know, with people, especially Labour supporters. You tell them we're raising the water by 50 cents per 1,000 gallons and riot, demonstration, protest, all kind of things. We have a nasty attitude towards things that have to do with government and the state. And water is one of the ways that we believe we have some kind of entitlement. That is not the price for water that we are paying. What we have there is a very subsidized price of water. Immense concession upon water. But I guess no government is going to ever take, and I'm not advocating for them to increase the water, you know. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm just saying the reality. The problem with us in this country, if it is a problem, is that any agency of the state, and that is why some people were dead set against privatizing Wasco, you know, because if Wasco gets privatized, the shielding that we get from government, where government is giving us protection and concession and subsidy and whatever on water. It would be gone. The private company would price the water as it is sensible to be priced in terms of what are the expenses. If Wasco tomorrow there is a strike of Wasco workers because they want a raise and the companies say it can't give them a raise, we know the majority of us going to rise up in solidarity with them. And Wasco could be paying people just $1,500 a month and this kind of thing. We don't care about what Wasco is collecting. There are a lot of things Wasco need to do and need to upgrade and whatever. They're challenged to do it unless the government steps in and gives them the money or negotiates on their behalf or guarantees a loan for them. They just don't have it in the kitty to undertake that kind of thing for themselves. Government has to give them a bailout and a subsidy and so on. We're the first persons who will scream. And that is the attitude. Like I say, it isn't one side more than the other. The moment any government is in office, anything that happens to say the police force becomes Philip JP's police force. And so people who are flamboyant, who don't like Philip JP and don't like Labour and so on, they'll use anything in the police force to hang around Philip JP's neck because that's his police force. We see the police force in the context of who's tomorrow another government takes over UWP and the UWP supporters will be defending the police, in every way they can. Same way with Wasco. Wasco is now Philip JP's Wasco and Labour's Wasco and so on. So anything with Wasco, we're ready to kill about it. That's how it is. That's how the politics has infiltrated everything in terms of the way we think. Despite being an intensely political person, I do my best not to let myself, and I like to use the phrase, I don't like my mind being taken captive, by certain modes of thinking that you automatically think that way. I like to keep my mind open and as free as possible to see things from different sides, not necessarily from all sides. But there's a video that's circulating now, and it's even worse than the ones that Jaquan took of the leak, near or under the San Souci Bridge. It's somewhere up in Babono. And it reminds me of a time when I was working up the mall on Radio St. Lucia and living in nearby and so on. And there was something at the back of Sahaful West Community College. And by the back, I mean the part that is facing town. And ever so often I'll be walking that road and my goodness me, the kind of water that was gushing out of some tank. And I thought maybe it was a Sahaful West tank that they had and that when it was full it overflowed. Until later somebody told me no, it's actually a Wasco tank that is there. And ever so much when the tank was full and it overflowed, that was where the overflow. And I was looking at the water and I'm saying, my goodness me, this looks like nice, clean water. And up the mountain, that water must have been cool and fresh. And that reminded me of the days when rivers were so good and coming from school, you could just, when you're thirsty because you play enough football and you run and all, when you could just kneel down on a stone and drink water from a river and not care about pollution or anything like that, And I used to look at that water with a kind of a, longing. And it's the length of time. One time I said I'm staying there until that water, and I stayed and I stayed and I stayed until I said my whole day will go. Water, vast quantities of it. Eventually they did something about it. I never stopped talking about it. But when I looked at the video that's going around, I said to myself, wow, for water to be spewing out like that in such huge quantity, and the lady said it's somewhere up in Babon or whatever. Jaquan, let's play that short video clip with the comments of the person who took it.
Good morning, St. Lucia. This is Wasco throwing water. I'm living at Gara and I have not had water for the past 3 weeks. This is 4 weeks. Today is Mother's Day. I'm going to church and I have to take a half bath. And Wasco is telling St. Lucia they don't have water, but look what is happening. This is a gutter. The water is flowing all the way down to the gutter. And we have no water at home for the past 3 weeks. Can the authorities get on board on these things and find out from Wasco what exactly is the problem? Because they're selling for us water at $450 a truck and they tell us they don't have water in our pipes, yet they're throwing water. Somebody that is responsible, please come and answer us. Thank you. Good morning.
Again? Or did you get it? Do we need to play that again? I mean, just look at the kind of water that is coming out there. Even for the few seconds of that video. Now, I contacted an official of Wasco. And they had an explanation. They said this really concerns a big storage tank that they have at Lakwa, Babuno. And that storage tank feeds other storage tanks in other communities of Babuno. So I suppose from that big storage tank, they will pipe water to store in the storage if they have one at Monnier, if they have one at, this place, that place, and so on. They will send the water there. But a problem developed with the overflow mechanism of that tank, so that whatever it was that they called it and so on, it no longer functions. So they have to manually or whatever monitor when the tank is full and then to shut off the pump so that it doesn't go above what the tank can take. And so what we are seeing there is the overflow water discharging there. And on that occasion that the lady recorded it, it has discharged for at least 3 hours. That's 3 hours of water in a storage tank. Just overflowing and getting out into whatever the overflow valve and so on. And just getting wasted going this way. He explained to me, the situation that it's a technical fault and whatever. But I said to the gentleman, so I understand, as I understood with the one of the Sanssouci Bridge. But sir, I will tell you again what I said to you before. The optics of that thing is extremely bad. It's extremely bad to the lady who, by her account, has not had water for 3 going on 4 weeks. And for you to be seen, something has to be done. I said, what is it about the overflow that he said, I understand there are different overflow prevention mechanisms, ball and float flap, whatever, this, that valve. He said, well, this particular one will not work for a tank of that size. The pump will overpower it. And when the pump overpowers it, you can have a rupture. He explained the thing to me, I understand what he's talking about, but at the end of the day, explanation and understanding ain't gonna cut it. You get my drift? They ain't gonna cut it. This is a matter of urgency that has to be dealt with, both for the absolute economics of it, of the water that you go through all this problem to in the catchment, and then to send it to the reservoir, and then to treat it and to purify it and to chlorinate it, all of which carry a cost. And then for you to have that kind of loss, it's water that is treated and potable and ready for household use and drinking, and which water bottling companies will be taking it and doing whatever they do, pass it on the ultraviolet and tell you it's purified water and make endless money for it. And for you to be losing so much of it, I wonder how much water in 3 hours you're going to have. He said, it's something they're looking at and they're going to be working. But I wonder, these things, minute as they seem, minor as they appear, in terms of what the fault is, it's the case of Rasco, a company that while it is providing such a vital service and generally doing it well, that it doesn't have the money to put in place those simple overflow things. Are you telling me that when that tank overflow, there is not some other option to send that water somewhere else, or are all the tanks so filled that they can't take anymore? Is there another chance that you can bypass Plateau and send some to Deramo? I don't really know how it works. But don't let that kind of water be seen to be going out there. Strictly speaking, it's absolutely horrendous. People should be without and water wasting so. So I don't know, the optics just bad. The reality is horrendous for people who have to go through it all the time. Jaquanda, we play this again. We got to play it again, Good
morning, St. Lucia. This is Wasco throwing water. I'm living at Gara and I have not had water for the past 3 weeks. This is 4 weeks. Today is Mother's Day. I'm going to church and I have to take a half bath. And Wasco is telling St. Lucia they don't have water, but look what is happening. This is a gutter. The water is flowing all the way down to the gutter. And we have no water at home for the past 3 weeks. Can the authorities get on board on these things and find out from Wasco what exactly is the problem? Because they're selling for us water at $450 a truck, and they tell us they don't have water in our pipes, yet they're throwing water. Somebody that is responsible, please come and answer us. Thank you. morning,
It's a situation where that's going to happen because your overflow mechanism is not working, whatever. Maybe do something, tell the water truck companies to go and come and be on standby. Connect their hoses, whatever, to that overflow, whatever, and they'll get water. If it's going to waste, give it to them free. Nobody selling it to them again because it'll waste anyway. Tell them, come, park your water truck there, line up there, whatever, because we're pumping. We almost at the thing to see, if water overflow. Give it to them. Or even if they make $4.50, whatever, it's better than to have it wasting. Or there must be some other thing that we can do. Build an aquatic center or public swimming pools, whatever, for the people of Babono, so that they don't have, because Babono is a place relatively far from the sea and so on. Build some public pools and let the water go there and plenish the pools. They'll always have fresh water. Do something. Don't let the water waste so. For people to be seeing it wasting so, and like the lady says, she don't have water. Top say top, missy. Again, I'm sensitive to the challenges that Wasco likely faces, because when you're offering a service of that nature, that is so technically complicated and sophisticated, I don't think people understand the production of potable water, all that goes into it, We think it's just click and clack. It ain't so at all. There's a lot of things there, a lot of expense, a lot of cost, not least of which the cost of workers, of your equipment, of your four-wheel drive, of your pumps, of your wrenches, of the repair teams and crews, and I mean, it's a lot. Your water treatment plants and so on. It's a lot that have to go on there. You understand that? And so Wasco needs to maybe have a lot more in terms of capitalization and so on, and that will never stop. It's a political hot potato. But we need to do something to move ourselves out of that zone. The perception, the optics just ain't good at all. And to be seeing that happening, I will say again, top say top. What needs to be done, needs to be done. We have to get it done. Now let me go on one other thing before I go into the next break and then open the phone lines. Apparently this is a commotion. People have to express themselves. It's freedom of expression and so on, and what they think about something. But it looks like an internal letter or memo from a council of elders of a certain church to their flock pertaining to their stances on participating in the jazz festival and the Kingdom Night and so on. It got leaked. I don't think it was the Council of Elders or Church of God Seventh Day. Now, a lot of people believe it's the Seventh Day Adventists. The Church of God Seventh Day is a different Christian denomination than the Seventh Day Adventist Church. So people, please stop giving the SDA Church flack. This is not a defense or a promotion of SDA. I'm not one of them. The Seventh Day Adventism have made tremendous contributions to national, economic, cultural, artistic life. A lot of musicians, good choirs and so on, Seventh-day Adventist people. They have a lot of good singers and so on, and I think it's something they take a lot of pride in and so on. Even things like Chekapesh and so on, the nucleus of it is a lot of Seventh-day Adventist people. So comedy and the arts and things pertaining to health and nutrition and diet and so on. Education, Seventh-day Adventists are usually far out front in terms of their contribution to national life. And I think research is even showing that it's paying off, in that Seventh-day Adventists tend to live longer, I don't know if healthier, than a lot of people. In other words, if there is a mean, they mark a positive deviation for the mean, and it's because of their great focus on diet and those kind of things and so on. I don't know if not eating pork and lobster and so on is one of them, so I'll avoid going there. But I just want to make the point that it's not the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I've had a kind of a acquaintance with Church of God Seventh Day back in the past. I think they believe in observing the 7-day Sabbath. I think they also don't believe in eating pork. If I remember correctly, they have their own prophetic view of things, such as what the Gentile times, stand for, and the beast, and Seventh-day Adventists too. And at the time that I was acquainted with them, many years ago, in my village of my birth, Dennery, there was a kind of a church of God Seventh-day people there and so on. I remember talking to them. They were very pro-Israel. They believed the end times, and that Israel now is a prophetic sign of the end times and so on. And the Jews are, I don't know, I could be wrong because it's been such a long time. I haven't really had much contact with people. But apparently they put out some communication to their members expressing disapproval of those of their flock who would have participated in, patronized the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, including the Kingdom Night that many people assume would be something that would be embraced by Christians. Well, I'm sure it was warmly embraced by many Christians. We heard one of the top representatives of the Catholic Church in St. Lucia, Monsignor Dr. Patrick Anthony, really speaking effusively and really supportively of it, giving it, the raised fist, the thumbs up, has been a good thing that he hopes to continue. But that doesn't mean that every Christian denomination feels the same way and will encourage their members the same way. Apparently, Church of God Seventh-day is not very enthusiastic about the Jazz Festival or Kingdom Night, and it seemed like they had given their members some kind of caution, some kind of warning about participating. And they appear to have gotten wind that many of their congregants, members of their flock, did not heed that warning and went ahead and partook, indulged in the Jazz Festival, including and maybe especially the Kingdom Night. So they've written them a stern letter, telling them that they will have some kind of discipline, all who took part in it, that they're going to place them on probation and they will not be allowed to participate or contribute to any church activities or whatever. And it has brought about a firestorm of reaction from many people who have denounced those church leaders as being hypocrites, as being this, as being that, and so on. I spoke to a representative of the Church of God Seventh-day this morning, and I was trying to get him to come on this program. And he said he has no problem, but they want to do things in a kind of a measured, structured way, not all over the place, talking to this one here. So they're working on putting out a comprehensive statement that will outline, explain, and clarify their position on the matter, and to make people understand that this is not just something they woke up and they did in reaction. There had been prior discussion between the Council of Elders and the membership, explaining the position of why they were not particularly enthusiastic or supportive or encouraging of participation in the Jazz Festival. So whoever did it, it's not because they didn't know. The second point I want to make, and that's not what he told me, I generally know that when you are a member of a church and many other types of organizations, that the mere fact that you have been admitted into membership, that you sought membership, that you applied for membership, that one of the standard conditions is that you agree to abide by the rules and laws of the church, which are often communicated by instructions and directions from the leadership of the church. You agree to acknowledge this and to abide by them. To deviate from it and so on could be seen as a violation of the terms of your membership in that organization. That's something. So if your church has communicated to you that they don't want, or they don't think, or they don't encourage members to be participating in this, and you don't, it means, strictly speaking, that you would have violated the terms and conditions of your membership in that organization. One of the things that I asked the representative of the Church of God Seventh-day was, if you're going to take sanctions, you're going to take actions against members of your church that did not conform, that did not abide to the instructions, to the directions of the Council of Elders, does that not put you in a position where you are going to punish some and others will get away? Because how are you going to enumerate accurately, correctly, thoroughly all who violated your instructions? It means those that you will put on probation and so on will be those that you were able to identify, those that you were able to, as we say, boucher them, those that owned up and confessed and said, yes, I did. But what about those that you didn't see, you didn't notice, they don't own up, they don't confess, whatever? There's nothing to expose them. He said, well, yes, that's a consideration, but you have to deal with what you can at the time and maybe expect that the example that is set and that is made of some will be communicated to all others. He answered my questions, I have to say, very frankly, even while the understanding was that I would not be recording him, I would not be identifying him, I would be speaking with him pretty much off the record, but for my own edification, etc., etc. For my part, I just want to say this, that the separation of church and state in St. Lucia is an established and accepted fact or aspect of our pluralism, our pluralistic democracy and so on, that we recognize that. To each his own. Unless they are violating the laws of the state and the Constitution, which even the Bible says to Christians, subject yourself to every ordinance and the law of man. So Christians are supposed to obey every law of man once it does not conflict with or contradict the law of God. So you're supposed to obey the traffic laws of the state, you're supposed to do those things. But of course, if they tell you, as they tried to tell somebody, my namesake Daniel many years ago, that he must not pray for 30 days, and if they catch him praying, it's a situation of, as I suppose Peter and John said to the people who said to them to stop preaching the newly established Christian gospel, we must obey God as ruler rather than men. And once it does not conflict with the law of God, you're supposed to obey it. Likewise, if it does not conflict with the law of the state, it is the right, it is the prerogative, it is the privilege, it is the duty of pastors and priests and bishops and all sorts of church leadership to set rules, may not be the right word, but to give directions to their flock as to how they should conduct themselves. They should not tell their flock, don't pay tax. That definitely would be bringing you into not just unlawful but unscriptural conflict with Caesar, to whom you must render the things that are his, as you render the things that are God's. Likewise, the church can't tell you that you must change your day of worship from Saturday to Sunday and you must stop this Sabbath observance and so on. That is really outside the purview of the state as certain things. So, it is the right of church leaders in matters pertaining to church life and religious life and spirituality and adherence to the Bible and interpretation of it to give the directives and guidance and instructions to their flock. And I do not agree with those who are making a big hullabaloo about them being hypocrites and this and that and so on. If it is something that impacts on the general constitutional and civic life of the country and so on, then yes, we can have something to say about it, but not when it is an internal matter. It's an internal matter, it's internal to them. And the pastor, a representative of the church, assured me that they had absolutely nothing to do and no intention of that letter being made public. It was meant to be an internal communication to the members of the church, and members of the church who were not given an instruction after the fact, but of whom there had been prior discussion and explanation of the church's stance on that matter. You see, just as it was Archbishop Malze's right and duty and privilege and prerogative as the head of the Roman Catholic Church to write that missive that he wrote about the Bam Bam Wall and, why he thought it was taking us down a direction of licentiousness and so on, that we should not be going and we need not take carnival in that direction. That's his right. We can't denounce him as being a hypocrite and this and that. He, as a cleric, as a church leader, as a shepherd, he has a right to address his flock and to share it with us and to say, look, this is for your consideration. This is what the church speaking through me strongly believes we should take and so on. And we have to accept it in the democracy, the freedom of expression, between church and state and so on. And that is what allows for the coexistence and for the better understanding and for the better, one expressing themselves so that they have a better understanding of the other. And that can work wonders. What a wonderful thing democracy and pluralism and freedom of expression and freedom of worship that they can be if we all respect them within our own respective spaces, even if we may call those spaces our own respective bubbles. Bubbles are rubbery, they're smooth. They slide against each other with ease. Those of us who have blown bubbles, they have a certain flexibility and fluidity about them. And in the right conditions, they can even meld and merge. Sometimes they may go their separate ways. Some may last longer and float far away. Others may pop right as soon as they're ejected and so on. But that is the beauty of the diversity and the variety about them. Let us preserve the pluralism and not denounce people for being hypocrites and as I saw someone, and I think I can name the former press secretary, Jadia Jean-Pierre Emmanuel, wrote very briefly on her Facebook this morning, there are rules and everything in church and all of that. And if you feel so very strongly and you object to it and you don't agree with it, then nobody's holding you there. You're not a tree. You're not planted there that you need to be chopped down and so on. You didn't say use all those words. But you can leave. You're a sensate organism, not just sensate, but sensible. You can always resign. You can always leave. But I think all this denunciation and vituperation that has been expressed against those church leaders, the council of elders of the Church of God 7 Day, I think much of it is uncalled for. It's unnecessary. Let's take a break. When we come back, phone lines open for you.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Calls, the numbers. You can WhatsApp call us on 758-724-7325. That's 758-724-7325 and 4533911, our landline direct. We have a caller on the line already. Good afternoon. Real Issues. Hi, good afternoon to you. Can we get a little more volume on that call?
Hello?
Yes, hearing you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just some issue I want to raise. Something that is affecting us in the area of Old Victoria Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a problem with the last time they had a that's Reno, the curry place there.
There's a curry place on Old Victoria Road.
No, I mean Reno.
Okay. Old
Right,
Victoria Road,
because
as in
like
therefore.
our view.
Hold on. Old Victoria Road, as in where we call therefore.
Yeah, therefore, yeah.
Oh, there's a Reno quarry there.
No, what I'm telling you is like our view, like we could watch it through our window. It's close. You get me?
No, I'm not getting you. Jaquan seems to be understanding you.
Okay. Okay, Reno, I think is in Bexo there. Or cul-de-sac, I don't know what. The where they had the curry there. Where they had the big blast the last time.
Right,
when they
okay,
had
yeah.
people die, I think people died.
Yeah.
Right. So that is our view. But then they had a big blast there. And after the blast, people's house shook and roof fell and, and stuff like that.
So you're saying what happened down in cul-de-sac affected you by Old Victoria Road?
Yeah.
Or the vibration and so on?
Right.
Okay.
So, but then after the big blast, they had to stop. Now I noticed that the Reno is coming up closer to us now, and that vibration constantly shaking out, and the houses are on hills. I'm seeing cracks in the house and all kind of things. That's really terrible. The house is vibrating when that thing blasting. I don't know if you could help me or direct me to somebody who I could speak to, because that's really terrible. You would think it's an earthquake. It's terrible. I mean, when you have a time, I would like you to come and see it for yourself, because I don't want to just say things. I don't send you pictures. Pictures will not do justice to what happening right now. So is it possible that you could make a time or something where we could show you? Because it's terrible, and it's coming up on us now. That vibration is terrible. People are going to lose their houses,
Right. All right. The only place I can think of to tell you to check now is the Ministry of Infrastructure. I think all those things pertaining to quarries and all of that would definitely fall under them as the ones that are responsible for roads and construction and this sort of thing. I believe that. I don't have the
Just
number
go up
of
to
I don't
me.
have the number of my head, but I would say you would need to contact the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Chief Engineer's office, who can then direct you as to what next steps you can take. So what I would say is make a note to reach out to the Chief Engineer in the Ministry of Infrastructure. All right. Now Miguel Favre is just sending me a message. He's saying that physical planning is the one that you need to. Okay, and I'm also getting another message from someone else who says quarries fall under physical development. All right. So physical development is what ministry? I know that the DCA chairman is Mr. Ignatius Jean, the former minister for physical development. So just note this, okay? Physical development.
Okay. The number on the screen there, the cell number, is that yours?
Yeah, that is MBC's number.
Can I get your number or something offline? Or
Yeah, hold on. Miguel is trying to call us, so let me see if I can call him. Miguel Favre. If I call him on my phone, I think you should be able to hear. So I'm going to call Miguel, who is has some familiarity with what's taking place there, and maybe he can share some insights. Okay, so just give me a chance. Let me just call his number. Okay, please.
Okay.
Miguel Favre. All right, let me call him now. Hold on a second, eh?
Shelton.
Yeah, hi Miguel. Yeah, thank you so very much for reaching out. Yes.
No worries. I was actually going to call something else. I was actually waiting for your caller to finish. But yes, the first contributor was right. The correct department would be the Department of Physical Planning, Physical Development, under which the DCA falls, because that would have to go take into account the fact that we have we have industrial zones and commercial zones, and these things, all these things would fall under physical planning
Okay.
and development. So I think if there's any concern, they would have to take it up there.
Okay.
And if it'd be nice if the person is actually able to contact Reno Gajada himself, that may even to let him, at least he's aware. He's actually aware from a personal level, from a personal standpoint of what is going on.
Okay.
But then that's the advice. You still have a call on the line?
Caller, you still there, right?
Yes, I'm still there.
Are you
But
hearing-
I
are you hearing what-
can Miguel, because
Let me get a number for now to call. Physical planning.
Okay, you're gonna get the number now for us.
Yes.
Okay, caller, just hold on. Miguel is getting the number.
Okay. It's 468
468
just now.
4410.
468
I
what?
didn't have my phone.
4410.
Take it down,
Okay.
just now.
All right. 468 4410.
468 4419.
468 4410.
4410.
Or in place of the 0, you can put 9. 4410 or 4419.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, Miguel, you said there was something else you wanted to talk
I
about?
just wanted to touch two of the topics you spoke about briefly, Shelton. I'll start backwards. Are you familiar with the Latin term sum quique?
Some what?
Quique.
Oh no, it sounds like a kind of a bird or sikiye kind of thing for me.
Well, it means to each his own.
Yeah, okay.
And that's in reference to the issue of the letter coming out from the church. Like you rightfully said, and JD said, if you have a problem with it and you're a member, you're free to leave. You're an adult, right? Unless they're holding you there with chains, which would be illegal.
Yeah.
But that said, Sheldon, from a personal standpoint, I don't think there's anything that the council or the gentleman that you have spoken to could say to convince me. They could write a whole doctoral thesis to convince me that there's any rationale or logical rationale behind restricting your members or prohibiting your membership from attending. And they spoke specifically to Kingdom Night, which is almost like an ecumenical service. It's a coming together of all religions, all denominations, for one event. And in the context of it, it's a religious event, a gospel event. So I see no reason. There's nothing that they could write a 10-page, thesis. There's nothing they could say to convince me about that.
So you have already prejudiced your mind that they can't explain their way out of that.
They can't explain their way out of that, Sheldon.
All right. Okay.
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 But the next thing is, to a more important point, you mentioned Wasco, and I think people don't realize that when you spoke earlier about the fact that if Wasco gets privatized, we're going to see some tariffs shoot up unless it is controlled, of course, by the NUC, who has the responsibility for reviewing, for overseeing the tariffs, reviewing the tariffs, and if any of the utility companies want to raise their bills. But people need to understand the fact that the government is subsidizing Wasco and borrowing on their behalf and all these kinds of things. It's actually to a benefit to us, because many of us, I think a vast majority of us, paid a minimum $24, $25 as monthly on their water bill. Right? Could you imagine if that was in the control of a private company?
I can tell you it would be a lot more than that.
But on the flip side, we have to look at when governments have control of these companies. Look at what the dam debacle. You know, the John Compton Dam and what has happened.
Yeah. The dryer that they ordered to dry the earth and it never worked.
Yes. Now, if you look at an example in Dominica, do you know that in Dominica electricity is still being rationed?
Oh, okay.
By Domlec. And Domlec, they're still being rationed, and Dominica is a country that has made so much money off CIP, they were able to build a hospital and stuff off CIP. But when you look at Domlec, I asked someone who's been in the utility business for years, for decades, and I asked, but why? Look at how profitable Lucilec is. Lucilec is doing well on all fronts. Why is Dominica, in that situation? He said, simple, it's government run. It's government run. So you have these disadvantages. So I said, the problem that the reason they're rationing the electricity is because the infrastructure is outdated. He said the government has never taken it on their own to maintain the infrastructure. And we see this is a common thread throughout the region. You look at the government buildings, how they've been allowed to deteriorate over the years. Other government properties are deteriorated due to the lack of, maintenance. So that's the flip side to it. But on the other side, it's a benefit to us,
yes.
As people. But anyway, Sheldon, let me not start the line. I just wanted to make those points.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. The real issues.
And let's all hope that the afternoon is good, Sheldon.
Yes, it is good.
Okay, let's go with the flow. First to begin, I just cannot understand that Wasco has water to waste and none to supply the people. Secondly, Wasco has a crew for the hotels. The entire north, south, east, west, they have a crew for the hotels. Anytime there is a problem, the crew are already alerted, gone, get it done. Why do the nation have to suffer? If you were to ask me what is needed to be done, it's not good for the air, it's not good for the ground, it's not good for nothing. So that I'm going to keep it for myself. Parce que si moi cette ici, moi take care of Wasco.
Kimod
oubliez moi vivre en pays français. Moi sans femme solidaire. Moi connaître manière pour moi ça mettre mon ensemble. Let's get it going.
Okay, all right.
Ou tu n'as pas Betty White?
What's that?
Betty Jean pas.
Qui ça Betty Jean fait?
Betty Jean pas prix bon moins. Si moi arriver cette lycée avec nous de joindre pays à bout. Wasco ka vini bien one time.
Okay.
De pou pas ba de Wasco moi ça moi fait.
All right. Eh bien, où t'es koto ya vont venir faire mauvais ici.
Non, il bon. Délai pour mauvais à bon manger bagay. It's because conclusions are too powerful. That's the reason Wasco is doing that nonsense. I am putting my foot down, I'm putting my head down.
Modla wo parler là, man de ces pièces bon l'idée on est.
Mais Abdou c'est pas mon idée money.
All right. Wait a koto ya.
I told you what I have to say. It's not good for the air, it's not good for the ground, it's not good for the sky.
All right, thank you for not saying it then. Well, thank you very much, Maria. Okay.
About that religion business there. These religion people, let me tell you something. It is a gospel thing they had. They did not have a my way. They didn't have a bam shaking wall. What is wrong with these religion people? And it's the reason I tell you, I don't want to be ruled by anybody. I don't want to be controlled by anybody. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I want you to be doing me. Because trust me, they will go on the bam wall. The pastor will discipline them. But the money they will give, tithe money is good. Nobody tells me what to do. And look, you see that sheep? She cannot be controlled by any shepherd. Good. Ou je ne me grand, et vous voulez me dire qui ça pour moi faire, qui ça m'a pas fait, parce que moi quand une religion, monsieur, regardez-moi. L'eau discipline moi là, moi pas ni moi paye calopote moi. Good, goodbye.
Okay, rebellious Bonaparte. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Folks, I think that it's up all the time that we have today for the real issues. Thank you so very much. Let me just quickly read a couple of messages. One of them says, it boggles the mind. What could be wrong with attending Kingdom Night in a Christian context? Church rules or not, much ado about nothing. We spend too much time on such a private matter between the church and its members. I agree with that. Although the church may have a different perspective on it. Two things, sir, with all the climate change noise that has been going around, shouldn't they have started tapping into desalination by now? They could, but I can tell you, desalination relative to the way we get our water, the surface water and all that, desalination is a relatively expensive process to desalinate water and to have all those reverse osmosis plants and those things and so on. Good afternoon, Senator Dr. Alison Jean. Thank you for your message, giving a little bit of help and directions in terms of where queries should be properly directed. I haven't seen you for quite some time, but all the best to you, and nice to know that you continue listening to us. All right. Wow, Shelton, I always say that Wasco does waste more water than we, the customers. Okay, that's your opinion. I guess we can deal with all of that, as I've said. Democratic pluralism. That is the real issues for this Monday, 13th May 2024. On behalf of our technical operator who did another wonderful job, Jaquan, I'm Shelton Daniel. Till tomorrow, God willing, signing out.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Monday, 13th May 2024 were Double Daily Grand 1, 4, 5, 13. Big 4, 7, 2, 1, 8. Big 4 Multi-X, 3X. Pick 2, 4, 7. Pick 2 Multi-X, 2X. One off, 9, 6, 2. Lucky 3, 8, 4, 6. Lucky 3 Multi-X, 2X.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for